Do you or a loved one suffer from a hot and childish temper? Do you or this person often act out in order to be the center of attention, or have the best intentions but mediocre follow through? Maybe you or this person often find they speak without thinking first, occasionally lie, or never finish any project they start. As a non-licensed pediatric zoologist, my unofficial diagnosis is Aries. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and welcome back to the channel. Now, as you can see, we are starting right back up into Zodiac Saturday with the newest edition now that we are in the lovely month of, well, March still. However, the spring equinox has brought in the new energy. The Libra full moon has really set the mood for how this new lunar cycle is going to be set. And so we're going to be talking about Aries today on Zodiac Saturday. Now, if you enjoy this, make sure to like, comment, subscribe if you will. Share it with friends, maybe some family, anybody that you know that's an Aries, just a little education or something, or maybe people that are trying to start off on their journey to learning about the Zodiac. Now, without further ado, we are going to get into my description of Aries sun sign. So, I hope you're excited because I know I am. Now, in order to start off with Aries, you have to know a little information about how to become an Aries prior. So, the easiest way to be an Aries is to be born between March 21st and April 20 or 21st, respectively. The years change, the sun travels around the earth at a different time every, year. So we can't really predict exactly. However, Aries is the first sign of the zodiac. It brings leadership, authority, renewal into the new zodiac cycle that we start. It's the first one that we have, and it goes, all the way through that, all the way until it gets to the 12th sign, Pisces. And the Aries, glyph is what they call it. Its symbol is the ram. Now, the ram is, as you know, a horned animal that is quite aggressive, maybe a little bit show-offy, I guess you could say, and it really fits with the Aries because, that's basically an Aries to the T. Now, like I said in the little intro, I have a little book here that I'm reviewing just so I'm not all over the place whenever I'm trying to describe what everything is. So, next we're going to be talking about the duality of the sign, which the duality, each sign is broken up into one of two different groups. There's masculine signs, which are the fire and earth, or the fire and air signs, and then there's feminine signs, which are the earth and water signs. Now, Aries, as a fire sign, is masculine, meaning it is direct and it's energetic. A lot of times now, astronomers try to keep away from the masculine and the feminine labels because they, in society now we have negative connotations of each of those words one way or another. So now they describe it as outer directed and strong through action, meaning they are, a masculine sign is mostly more so extroverted than introverted, and they deal with their problems on the outside, and they are the ones that will get them done through direct action, as opposed to maybe a feminine sign which will try to think it out themselves. Now, the element, like I've already stated, is fire, and that means active and enthusiastic, and it can also mean aggressive sometimes, Basically, fire signs they're kind of like the show-offs of the zodiac in my mind. They typically are a little bit more boisterous about their accomplishments. They typically tend to be a little bit more fiery I mean, it's a fire sign, so obviously. And that can be annoying for some people, and some people, you know, they get along with that type of energy. So it's really just kind of how you take it, you know what I mean? Okay, now we're going to get into its quality, and an Aries is a cardinal. A cardinal sign, it's basically enterprising and outgoing, which means they can, they are kind of adaptable in certain ways, but they typically tend to follow their own set of beliefs. There's fixed signs, which are, you know, the ones like Taurus that don't, they're very stubborn in the way that they do things, and they would prefer to just be left at their own devices. And then there's mutable signs, which they're just kind of like Pisces. They just like go with whatever direction somebody's pulling them in. And then cardinal signs are kind of the ones that are always like, let's like change it up. Let's see what's going on here. Let's divulge into the world that let's see what we can change about what's going on. Let's come up with some plans that maybe we weren't expecting. You know, they're a little bit more on autopilot, I guess you could say, where they just kind of let their minds take them wherever they want to go. Okay, and now we're going to talk about Aries planet, which is Mars. Mars is the, you know, in Roman mythology, Mars was the god of war and aggression, etc., etc. So as you can tell, Aries is ruled by a planet that is quite aggressive. So typically, you know, the zodiac is not a one-size-fits-all type thing, but, you know, just going off of general assumptions and general applications of what I've learned, Mars tends to be a planet that brings Aries to kind of like a ready to fight energy, if you know what I mean. Like they're ready to post up, you know what I mean. Okay, now I'm going to start talking about the actual qualities of the Aries themselves. And like I've said, the zodiac is not a one-size-fits-all. You have to take into accountability your moon sign, your rising, your houses, your other inner planets. The outer planets are a little bit less useful. But like even just the way that one planet is directed across your sign or across your birth chart from another planet can affect how those planets affect each other. So, I mean, it's a lot more into it than just the signs. Like, there's a lot of research that you have to do, and maybe one day I'll go into those. But for now, we're just going to be doing this because I think that this is a good starting ground. This is what people want to learn about first. They want to learn about the signs. So, the first impression that somebody typically will get from an Aries is that they are exciting, they're vibrant, they're talkative, they are warm and kind to be around, and they're inviting into their life, which is, you know, very positive for people whenever you're trying to network or to, you know, flirt, or maybe make new friends, or maybe just talking to somebody to make time go by. You know, anytime that you can be seen as a warm, fuzzy person whenever somebody first meets you, they're going to leave that conversation thinking that you're a warm, fuzzy person, and they're going to like you. You know what I mean? So next, they tend to always want to be the center of attention. And I know quite a few Aries, this definitely plays into some of them stronger than it does others, I will say. But for the most part, most Aries I know in my family, people that I've met, friends, etc., if they kind of see their influence from the topic of conversation kind of dwindling, they sometimes will do something shocking, or sometimes they'll say something just to kind of ring them back into the spotlight. This, you know, can be annoying because it can be seen as like egotistical, or as in like, I don't know, like, you know, just the person that never shuts up. You know, you're kind of like, we get it. Like, you don't always have to be the center of attention. They're kind of the ones that they'll enter the room loud so people see them, instead of somebody that can enter the room with just complete, like, like fashion, or maybe like just the energy that they bring with them, you know, that people are like, oh my gosh, wow, okay. They will get attention one way or another. And I also wrote down that they are an open-hearted friend that tries to give the best advice that they can. Masculine signs tend to not be that emotionally in tuned with everyone around them. However, you know, that doesn't mean that they can't do it, but the advice that you get from an Aries is typically not what you want to go with 100%. Maybe you could, you know, ask them to give you a little consultation or whatever, but you have to keep in mind that you need to keep your options open, because a lot of times if they are giving you advice, and they're going to try their hardest to give you the advice that you need, but sometimes there's just something that doesn't click there with them completely, and it needs to, you know, be tweaked a little bit, the advice that they give you. Alright, so next I have enjoys living on edge. They like taking a gamble. They like trying to follow their dreams, meet goals. They are always ready for a new adventure. Do they finish that adventure always? No. They are the sign that will get to a fork in the road, and literally one side of the fork will be like, here is where you're going. This is what you wanted to do. And then the other side will be like, maybe you'll find something along the way over here. And they will be like, okay, and they'll go over to where they have no idea what's going on. LOL. But you know, they dream big. They have good ambition. They're ready for what's to come, and you know that's really a positive trait to have if you're an Aries, to keep your options open at all times. And it's something that I believe a lot of us can learn from them. I have hot-tempered and can be childish. This is kind of with any fire sign. If you remember what I said about Sagittarius and the fire zodiac Saturday, Aries and all of the fire signs, they can be airheaded, and they can lash out if they think that they're being attacked, if they think that they are not getting a fair shake. They will let other people know, and sometimes it's not always the most mature way of handling things, but it's how they will handle it. So that's just how they get their judge, you know what I mean? So just look out for that. If you are an Aries and you think that maybe you're being wronged, just take a breath, like take a step back and be like, okay, am I actually, or is this just a complete like oversight on my part? Because you know, 9 times out of 10 when we get upset and temperamental, regardless what your sign is, that's what it is. 9 out of 10 times it's not even anything going on behind it. It's just literally how things are given out, you know what I mean? So I have down that they are typically honest, but they will tell a lie to make themselves seem a little bit more interesting. I mean, I feel like a lot of people do this. You know, a lot of signs will lie. I mean, that's just like a human trait, you know. But I mean, Aries are very commendable on their honesty. They will make sure that they are, for the most part, saying what they need to say in order to build trust amongst friends, or maybe, you know, every so often they'll get into a little place where they're like, well, you know, maybe I could spin this a little way to make it seem like I had a little bit bigger of an adventure than I normally did, you know, and then they'll share that story. And you know, with them, sometimes they can't keep up with that lie as much as other signs can, so sometimes they do get caught up in it, unfortunately. And then I also have, for the last thing down, I said that they have foot and mouth syndrome, because a lot of times they will speak without any thought at all, and you're just kind of like, okay, all right, that's cool. And sometimes I'm like, is that malicious? Did they do that out of complete like malice for the other person that they're talking to? Or sometimes I'll literally be like, oh, they literally did not think for 1 second before they just said that comment, like for real. And that's basically what I have for Aries written down. If there's anything else that you have, or anything else that you know, any personal stories from an Aries, I would love to hear them down below. And I'd like to say, I love you. Thank you for watching. Have a good day. Enjoy Aries season. There's more of these types of videos to come. And I hope that the new zodiac year treats you well. Have a good day now.